I'm listening to Buzz Pucks. Wow. And don't it sound good?
Not bad.
Welcome to Buzz Pucks.
That's a good job.
I'm Bert.
I'm Clay.
And
And
you know,
I'm impressed.
every week, sometimes Clay's impressed with my ability to put weird lyrics into songs, and sometimes he hates me. So,
I mean, I still hate you, but like,
yeah, that's all that matters. And we're here for the very brief Week 16.
All-Star break.
Yeah, just in case you guys forgot, this episode's going to be a little light. There was only 6 total games
Yep.
this past week. 2 of them played by Carolina, weirdly enough.
Yes.
And then, well, the way this week went was I believe there was 1 or 2 games on, I think there was 1 game on Monday, there were 3 games on Tuesday, and then 2 games on Wednesday, and then no games for the rest of the week.
Right,
Because of the All-Star break. So yeah, but there was some interesting news that came out.
Yes,
So,
there was.
we'll run through the games. We'll do them together.
Some
so.
extra heartbreak for Vancouver fans.
Just a little bit extra.
Just a little.
Just a little extra, just twisted the knife in there.
Yep.
But before we get to any of it and all of it, what are we drinking, Clay?
We are drinking Abita Brewery out of New Orleans, and we are drinking their Mardi Gras Bock. Because
Oh, it is almost Mardi Gras.
when this episode drops tomorrow,
Oh, is it Fat Tuesday tomorrow?
no, it
Oh.
will be 2 weeks out. But,
Oh, okay.
But this coming weekend is when the parades start. I mean, they kind of started this past weekend in the French Quarter. They
Yeah.
had it. They had a couple of parades, but this coming Friday is when it really starts
Gotcha.
uptown and the whole nine.
Uptown girl. She been living in her uptown world. Get off your phone.
No, I'm looking at the parades. I'm looking at the parades.
Oh my god. That's pretty good.
We had Crew de Vue, Crew Delusion, and yeah,
Just kind of just Bacchish.
it's a Bach.
Yeah, it's just, just standard Bach. Nothing
it's-
too fancy, but pretty good.
Mardi Gras. I miss New Orleans.
I've never been.
I lived there for 3 months.
Yeah. We have a friend who lives there who lives like right
Currently.
outside. Was it either right outside the French Quarter or
I'm pretty sure he's.
from Bourbon Street?
I think he's close to
I think
Bourbon
he's
Street.
close to Bourbon Street, and he's like, it's fun, except when you want to go to sleep,
Right.
and then it's not fun.
Well, I mean, should have gone uptown.
Well, what are you gonna do, But anyway, let's get into the hockeyness that happened this week. The one and only game that happened on Monday was between the Winnipeg Jets and the St. Louis Blues. Winnipeg won 4-2. Winnipeg outshot St. Louis 39-26 in this game. For St. Louis, Neighbors had a goal and an assist. Menalainen for Winnipeg had 2 assists, and Scheifele and Morrissey each had 2 goals for Winnipeg as well. St. Louis blew a 2-0 lead in this game.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Well, it's in their name.
Yeah, that's true. They're not having a good year.
They're
at
feeling
all.
very blue.
I think they're about to throw in the towel. I'm hearing a
Yeah.
lot about where Tarasenko is
Tarasenko.
going to get
Yep.
traded, where or if O'Reilly's going to get traded.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's just one of those things. It happens. Hey, they got a Stanley Cup.
they got a cup.
So this is kind of like the back nine of after you win the Stanley Cup. Usually, you have to blow your team up because you can't
Just
keep
a
everybody.
smidge, yeah.
Everybody gets old, So, one bad year, you can take it,
Right.
Anyway, that's Monday.
Yep.
One and only game. Let's move on to Tuesday, where the Carolina Hurricanes beat the LA Kings in overtime, 5-4.
Carolina can't keep getting away with it. They literally did almost the same thing that they did to San Jose. It wasn't an empty net goal, but
where they tied it really late.
they dragged themselves from behind. This was kind of a LA defense.
Well, it doesn't look like a lot of defense was played in this game.
No, there wasn't, but they had, I believe, a 3-1 lead at a certain. LA had a 3-1 lead at a certain point.
4-1 lead. I'm sorry,
thank
I did
you.
write that
Yeah,
down.
okay.
4-1 lead. I was like, did they? Usually I write that down. There it is
No,
down at the bottom.
no.
They blew a 4-1 lead.
Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
LA pooped themselves.
Yeah. LA was 1 for 2 on the power play, 0 for 2 on the penalty kill. So
That
you
is
know what that
correct.
means. Carolina was 2 for 2 on the power play and 1 for 2 on the penalty kill. Kempe had 2 goals. Kopitar had a goal and 2 assists. Doughty 2 assists, all for LA, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
While Svechnikov had 2 assists. Brent Burns had a goal and an assist, and Aho had the overtime game winner.
Yes,
Burns has
he
looked
did.
pretty good
I
since
mean-
joining Carolina in the offseason.
Which is what we expected. I mean, he's
Yeah.
been
I remember seeing that trade and be like, they didn't even really trade that much for
No,
him.
they traded
so I
nothing.
hate this.
because
I thought the same thing for Max Pacioretty, but unfortunately, he is gonna play 3 games for Carolina unless he resigns.
yeah, he might resign on a cheaper deal,
yeah.
but like
But that's just a bummer for him.
yeah, to his Achilles twice.
Yeah, they did those 2 trades where they basically gave up nothing for those 2 guys.
Yeah,
you know,
they-
no offense, I think there was a couple of no in there, but no
it was
big ones.
It was future considerations for Pacioretty.
That's right. It was. You're right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I was like, man, Carolina already a good team, got a veteran puck moving defenseman and a good goal scorer.
They upgraded D'Angelo, who they let walk, and
They traded D'Angelo.
oh yeah,
remember?
yeah,
Because that was
You're right,
another
you're right.
trade that everybody was like, "What was that?" But that was for Philadelphia.
Yes.
What was that? Anyway, you want to take Ottawa and Montreal?
I'll take Ottawa, Montreal. This was a very close back and forth game.
Mm-hmm.
I believe. Both had power play goals.
I wrote it down. Do you want me to recite?
Yeah, go for it.
Ottawa was 2 for 3 on the power play,
it
3 for 5 on the penalty kill. So the inverse is
Yes.
true for Montreal.
Stutzla had 2 goals and 2 assists in that
Big
game.
game. He's looking really good
He's
this year.
looking really
Yeah.
good. And then Raphael Harvey Pinard had 2 goals for Montreal.
Harvey Pinard.
Yes, he's the guy I said last week. And
Yeah.
you're just
Yep.
like, who?
Yeah. I was like, who is that?
I
Who
was like,
dat?
I don't know, but
Who
he's
dat?
playing
Don't
well.
know that name.
Yeah, so it was a very close back and forth game. Like you even got Mike Hoffman on the board. with
Yeah,
a
you
power,
did, yeah.
with a power play goal.
Yeah, look at him.
This is 9th
Just
goal
in
of the
time to get
season.
traded to San Jose,
It-
where his wife,
Where
Eric
Carlson
Carlson's
leave.
wife. That would be really funny,
Yeah.
actually. Yeah. That's it
It's-
for that game.
that's really- yeah.
it. 5-4 was the final score. Nice, fun back and forth game of 2 teams that are pretty bad.
who don't have defense.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
very
Cam
apparent.
Talbot is back, but he's not playing. He didn't play that game.
They might just be holding him out until
Yeah.
after the All-Star break. Moving on to the final game of Tuesday, Washington and Columbus, where Washington won in overtime 4-3. Evgeny Kuznetsov had the overtime game winner and an assist, while Eric Gustafsson 2 assists, and Trevor Van Riemsdyk had 2 goals on the blue line for
Don't hear that a
Washington.
lot.
No, he's more of a defensive defenseman, but still. And pretty spread out goal scoring for Columbus. Everybody had only 1 point.
Yep.
So nothing really to highlight there. But hey, fun overtime game.
Well, at least Washington gets a point because they've been struggling.
They got 2 points.
Yes.
Yeah. Gave up another loser point, but to Columbus it doesn't really matter.
No.
So Columbus is nowhere near making the playoffs.
Uh-uh.
Let's move on to Wednesday, where Carolina played again, beating Buffalo 5-1.
This was a rough game for Buffalo.
Yeah,
because
Buffalo.
at no point did they look in it.
Yeah, Buffalo really got worked in this game. Stefan Noesen had a goal and an assist. Kotkaniemi had 2 assists. And Chatfield, who is a young defenseman for Carolina, just in case you guys didn't know who that was,
Because I don't know who that is.
had 2 assists. He's been playing okay the last few weeks. I don't know. I don't follow every roster move that every team makes. So this is a younger guy. I think he may have gotten called up a few weeks ago.
I mean, defensemen are, especially defensive defensemen, they're kind of like refs. If you don't know their name.
If you don't hear their name, they're probably doing their
a
job.
good job.
Yeah. But he's put some scoring in recently too. The last few weeks, he's had a few assists, a goal. Antti Ranta was 29 of 30 in this game, and Alex Tuck scored the only goal for Buffalo.
Yep.
And our final game of the week, Buffalo and Toronto.
And this game was also pretty much all Boston.
Yep. From what I could tell.
They were tied 2-2 at some point, but then Boston really just took it away because the Derek Forbert started the scoring with a shorthanded goal.
Of all people, Derek Forbert.
Exactly. Mitch Marner tied it up on the power play, and I'm pretty sure that was like the closest that Toronto really was. It was all Boston. Pavel Zacha had 2 goals in that game, both in the third period.
Yes, he did. Yeah. I think did he score the third and fourth goals?
He scored the 4th and 5th.
4th and 5th.
Last 2 goals, and that 5th goal was not empty net. So
totally legitimate goal.
Legitimate. All right, and that's really it.
That's it for the week of games right there. Told you it was going to be quick.
I mean, Toronto, didn't handle the fans didn't handle the loss well because
of course they didn't.
Because it's against Boston and they can never seem to beat Boston. But also,
it's not like they're in second place in their division pretty comfortably. So.
Exactly. Calm down.
They're just getting overshadowed by
Boston,
but so is everybody else.
Yeah, and there's no shame of losing to Boston.
No,
right
not
now.
at all. Yeah. So let's roll over to some news. Some somber news to start off.
Is it?
Bobby Hall. Well, he died.
Yeah.
I mean, Bobby Hall passed away.
Did the world a favor.
Oh, jeez. Died at the age of 84. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, he lived a long life. Questionable person.
Beat a couple of his wives along the way.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not defending Bobby Hall. I mean, I'm just saying he died.
He was a great player on the ice. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, all
right. We haven't talked about this for a couple of weeks, but you know what? This is going to be a short episode anyway, so might as well talk about it.
Yep.
We actually meant to talk about it last week, but
and
we got caught
Horvat,
up with
got
Bo
traded.
Horvat and everyone. We kind of forgot. A couple weeks ago, Ivan Provorov, did he straight up refuse to? And it was Pride Night in Philly.
Pride Night in Philly, and
he didn't want to wear the rainbow jerseys or the rainbow stick tape or whatever it was.
And he did refuse.
He refused, and I don't think he did warm-ups. I think I can't remember.
I can't remember if he did warm-ups or his regular jersey. I think he did in his regular jersey.
I don't remember. This was a few weeks ago at this point. Anyway.
It's like 3 weeks.
Regardless, everybody found out and were, rightfully annoyed with him.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, well, I'm Russian Orthodox Christian, and this is against my religion, is what he said. And
Look,
why don't you just put it on? It's just a rainbow shirt.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean that... I don't know.
Look,
here's the thing, and we don't have to talk about this point for very long.
Nope.
I really don't like when people make excuses for their bigotry.
Right, because this is...
It's just like, oh, well, my religion says that gay people are bad. It's like, that. Okay,
yeah,
that book was written like 2,000 years ago?
Also, Russian Orthodox, you're not supposed to live with your significant other before
so there's
married,
hypocrisy going on there, too.
Provorov is doing. So it's picking and choosing.
Yeah. So I just... and that is not a shot at all the Russian players.
No, because...
that's just a shot at bigots in general.
Right.
You know what? If you're going to be a bigot, just be a bigot.
Right. Honestly.
And then get shamed for it, as you should.
And also, I was going back and forth with this because it's just for the most part, I don't know if he donates, I don't know. It's one thing, it's just hey, it's not something I really agree with, and I don't talk about it, but
yeah,
I just, that's me, so I don't feel like putting the jersey on, and still put the jersey on, but
it's just a shirt.
It's just a shirt
that you wear for 15 minutes.
And then also we'll go into the Rangers. Bring up the Rangers stuff first, because that helps.
The week following, the Rangers were supposed to have some sort of pride, the same thing. They're just going to wear warm-up jerseys or stick tape or whatever, and the Rangers, I guess the executive people on the Rangers were like, you know what, we're just not going to do it. But they didn't tell anybody. They didn't tell any of the players.
Nobody.
They didn't tell anybody, and so
they didn't rescind it. They just pretended.
Yeah, I think there was probably still signs up that were Rangers Pride Night,
right?
And then they just came out in their normal jerseys, which is whatever, really. But I don't know, because they were worried. I'm assuming that one or more players on their team was going to be no, I don't want to do that because Ivan didn't have to do it last week. blah 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 blah.
Right.
And they were like, well, there was a lot of negative backlash for Provorov. Yeah, duh.
Yeah.
And so they just decided to not do it, but not tell the players. And some of the players were like, where's the Pride Night stuff?
Exactly. Some of the players' questions like, hey, where's the stuff? Also, all of the jerseys and the sticks were supposed to get
Go to
auctioned
charity.
off to charity that no longer got auctioned. Like,
Yep.
there were charities that were supposed to get money that didn't. So
Thanks, Rangers.
that got affected.
Yeah.
Now, this could be like in the Rangers' defense. This could be a super high up James Dolan thing.
Yeah.
And James Dolan is the owner.
He's known for meddling and stuff too with teams.
He's the owner of
We don't know.
Rangers.
We don't know.
He's
though.
also
This
the
is just
owner.
Speculation.
He's also the owner of Madison Square Garden itself.
Yeah.
So, that's kind of like any Knicks fan will tell you he sucks, but he's also been threatening to like ban beer at Madison Square Garden because he's in a lawsuit thing with facial recognition and kicking people out of MSG using facial recognition software because they're like in lawsuits with him. Nolan's like, he's crazy.
Ew. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I don't really look into the owners that much because I'm like, oh, you're gonna be gross.
No, he's the hockey equivalent of Dan Schneider.
Ugh.
I don't.
That's like so.
He's
so
not
bad.
fully as gross as Dan Schneider.
He's not trafficking
Alleged, like
cheerleaders into sex crimes. Anyway,
So this could have just been Dolan. Like
it could have been, and but
it brings up the whole like NHL, the lack of even like with Tortorella standing behind him, Provorov.
Well, for Tortorella, like, what's he gonna do? Be like, yeah, he's a fucking bigot, you know? Like, what?
True, but like,
what's he gonna do about it? You know?
The whole point is, again, for the NHL to not do anything. They keep saying hockey is for everyone.
Well, the person that keeps saying that specifically is Brian Burke, who is the president of hockey operations for the Pittsburgh Penguins, who started the Hockey is for Everybody, I think that's his foundation that he started, because in 2009, his son came out during an interview, and Brian Burke was very supportive the entire time, but unfortunately his son passed away in a car accident the year following, so he started this initiative in hockey to, try to get some of that old grossness out of hockey, like everybody is trying to do in everywhere currently, at least in the United States, where we're like, why don't we get all of this gross, nasty hatred out of here? Because it makes everybody feel icky.
Right. So like,
but then there's people like, but it's free speech.
But it also like,
let me be mean to people.
Picking the one jersey, so that, like this jersey that you're not going to wear because you don't agree with it. It's kind of weird because, what do you think that? The backlash would be very different if they didn't wear the Military Appreciation Night jersey.
Oh yeah, let's see what the backlash would be for that, or like something innocuous, like sometimes when they have to play on St. Patrick's Day, they wear like Irish jerseys. Yeah. What if one player was like, I hate Irish people?
What if someone
didn't want to wear it?
Black History Month jersey this month.
Yeah,
where's
what
that
about
gonna
that?
go?
Yeah, where's that gonna go? So
it's just really weird that like this is the one you pick. Like any Russian player or like you have so many European players and they're got no problem putting on an American military jersey.
Yeah, weird.
Yeah. So
excuse me.
It's just
let's just leave it at this. Brian Burke, I think, said it very eloquently. He said the NHL has been saying for years that hockey is for everyone.
They're not backing it up.
But exactly.
They're not backing it up.
But when you allow the players to just straight up be homophobes, maybe in Ivan Provorov's, instance, or an entire team to just cancel Pride Night just because of bad PR, does that really say that hockey is for everyone? It doesn't.
And those two teams aren't the only ones who have flubbed.
No, of course not. No, of course
Pride
not.
Night this season. I know the Capitals have flubbed it.
I really hope the Penguins have not flubbed it because Brian Burke works for them. So
another Metro team might have flubbed it. can't honestly remember.
But the point is, those teams,
Carolina,
those teams are trying.
Yes,
right. They're trying. Their players are wearing the jerseys and whatever. I don't know. At the end of the day, just quit being a bigot. Why do you care? Why does anybody care
just
so much who someone else sleeps with? Get over it. Because I'm so fed up with it just in general in our world.
To me, it's practice what you preach for the AHL.
Yeah.
Just practice what you preach. If you say hockey's for everyone.
It should be for everybody. Every sport should be for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Shut up and let people play.
Exactly.
And stop telling them what to. Never mind.
All right.
Anyway, let's move on. Let's move on to something a little funnier. The New Jersey Devils coach Brunette, who was the coach for Florida last year.
Yeah, last year's coach, the interim coach,
got arrested for drunk driving a golf cart.
Oh, it's a golf cart. I just saw that he got a DUI in South Florida.
You telling me about it? I was like, he did not tell me he was driving a golf cart.
Because I didn't know.
He was driving a golf cart.
Oh my goodness. Hey, if people don't know, if you're drunk and on
any vehicle, anything with wheels,
it doesn't have to be wheels.
Oh no,
you can get a DUI on a horse.
Anything that is like you could probably get a DUI on like a pogo stick. Honestly,
I mean, I know you can get a DUI on a bicycle. You can get a DUI on a skateboard. So cops in college tried to get me on that.
If you're drunk, just walk or get a taxi.
Exactly.
Or an Uber or whatever. It's just really funny that it was a golf cart.
I was sober in college on my skateboard late at night, and since I had a brown paper bag.
Oh, they were like, "Hey,
what's in it?
What are you doing?" This is a Pepsi, sir.
It was Coke because I was going to use it to get drunk.
I'm not drunk yet.
Exactly.
So that's not a good look for Coach Brunette. Is his first name Andrew? I think it is.
Yes.
For Andrew Burnett, but
it's not Andrew. It's AJ.
I think no. AJ Burnett was a pitcher in baseball.
Thank you.
Yeah. No, I think it's Andrew Burnett. Not a good look for him. I don't think he's gonna get fired, but like. That's really stupid. It's really stupid that it was a golf cart. Mark Stone is out indefinitely for Vegas because he had back surgery.
Yeah, he had back.
He actually had back surgery.
Yep.
But this could be one of those things where they're like, he's out indefinitely until the playoffs, and then he comes back.
Well, I mean, LTIR.
Yes.
Put him on the LTIR. And
speaking of someone else who's...
And based on, like, the LTIR stuff, I saw that they could be the first team to be Vegas. Could be the first team with, like, $100 million with the cap. Because think of who was on their LTIR.
Yeah,
with Stone and Weber.
I forgot they had Shea Weber's contract.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
You have $100 million.
Really silly. Yeah, they might. Speaking of LTIR, Gustav Nyquist on Columbus is out for the rest of the season with a shoulder injury. However, I've seen a couple of pundits say that they're not ruling out that he actually gets traded because
that's true. I saw
they think that he might be okay once the playoffs start. So somebody at whatever team
take a gamble on
could take a gamble and just trade, essentially just for caps, not even cap space. He's on the LTIR, and just have him. And if he's ready for the playoffs, hey, you got like a fairly good like middle six player.
Exactly.
For the playoffs. So, I thought that was interesting. We'll see if that actually comes to fruition. But do you want to talk about this one?
All right.
Ottawa has fired their AHL head coach.
Yes.
For
Belleville Senators.
Yeah. Or Bellevue.
Bellevue. Shoot, I am going off the top of my head right now, and I can't remember.
I didn't write his name down. It was their head coach, though.
Yes, but it's Trent and I can't remember the brother. Just because their assistant general manager is the brother of the head coach of the AHL. Coach that got fired. Oh man, I am struggling.
I should have wrote down his name. I'm sorry.
I can't.
Well, this is your team, so really you should have.
No, I know. I should have done better. All right, so the AHL head coach got fired because there had been some trust issues, and what broke the camel's back was he was giving NHL scouting reports to Ottawa Senator opponents before games.
It's so scummy. Hold on, I'll look up his name. Keep talking.
His last name is Mann, M-A-N-N, and I believe Trent is the assistant general manager.
Dead air.
Sorry. Yep. I was watching you type. Now.
Troy Mann was his
It
name.
was Troy. It's Trent and Troy. That's
imaginative parents.
Yeah, that's what was driving me crazy. All right, so Troy got fired.
And just because I'm reading the headline, David Bell takes over in his stead.
I don't care.
I know.
Trent got fired for giving out the scouting reports because the theory, conspiracy theory is if Ottawa keeps losing, DJ Stewart gets fired.
DJ Smith.
Thank you. DJ Stewart
It's
is
not
a
Stewart, I don't think.
Orioles baseball player.
Oh, okay.
DJ Smith gets fired. And
DJ Smith, yeah.
if they don't have another guy lined up ahead of time, it's normally going to be the AHL coach.
Usually it's the AHL coach that
Gets
takes
promoted
over,
for
yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah.
So, by giving these secrets away, he gets fired, he gets the head coaching job.
Unless they find out.
Unless they find out. But also, like, he was trying to definitely push this because of the sale of the Ottawa Senators.
Yeah.
With a new ownership group, they might want to put in their people.
Yeah.
So if he does this before the actual sale becomes official, then he gets the
It's so
coaching
scummy.
job.
It's
Now,
so scummy.
He probably won't be in the league ever again.
No, never. No way in hell that anybody gives this guy a job again.
And I think they did it. I think they fired him before they told his brother. And it was just like, hey, we fired your brother. This is why. Sorry.
Did you know about this?
Right. I doubt he knew. I doubt Trent knew.
That's so. I mean, that's just speculation. There's no like proof to that.
No, there's no proof because
that sounds like a fairly good reason why he would do it.
It's the only reason that makes sense.
It's the only reason that makes sense. Because otherwise, unless he was getting like an exorbitant amount of money for it,
I don't even think he was getting money.
That's even worse.
I think he was just doing it.
Even worse
to get DJ Smith fired.
Oh my God!
Which DJ Smith is doing a great job of getting fired himself, but the GM won't do it.
Well, injuries are helping that as well.
I
don't know. I don't watch Ottawa. That's
their defense has not been good.
I see.
Smith is a player's coach. He is an excellent assistant coach.
You brought up a point I didn't even think. Once it gets sold, that they're going to have a new coach, I think, regardless. So, and probably a new general manager. Speaking of that, I didn't write it down, but I know Bettman said at the All-Star Weekend that they expect the final offers for the Senators to be coming in soon, and it was upwards of like 15 groups that were trying to buy it.
And then he all of them has Brian Reynolds.
Yeah, that was. I haven't heard anything about that in a while. But I know Ryan Reynolds was like, maybe he's in one of the groups, but there was a while where they were like, okay, well, Bettman said that regardless of who the group is, that has to have Ryan Reynolds in it, and I'm like, why? I mean, I know he's from Ottawa and he's like a famous actor, but that's like so stupid. Well, but in either direction, Bettman also said that all of these ownership groups know that they are not to move the Senators when they buy them. So I think their arena deal, isn't it done?
Is done.
It's done. Yeah.
It's
so
going to be in downtown.
So
Ottawa.
they're getting a new arena. So there's really no reason to move. Ottawa's the capital of Canada, so it's not like they're not going to have a crowd. Well, once they get the team back, like on.
I think just by putting it in downtown instead of like 30 minutes out like it is, so that makes everything
I mean, I think
easier.
I think that's been a problem I've heard. That's why Florida has such a hard time selling out games, is because they're not in Miami. They're in Sunrise, which is like pretty far out.
They're
I think. I don't know exactly where it is, but they play close to Miami.
Shoot, should have eaten before drinking these.
Not even that strong.
I know. Should have eaten. Fort Lauderdale. It's in between Fort Lauderdale and Miami.
Okay.
So like you are in the middle of two major metropolitan areas. There's nothing,
but not close enough to them, and there's no like big draw there.
There's
other
nothing.
than the Panthers.
There's nothing in between those metropolitan areas, but but swamp. So that's why you're not.
Well, there's
bringing anything.
it's the same thing with teams in LA. Not just the Kings, but like the Dodgers and all that. In like cities like Miami, LA, even New York too. There's so much else to do.
Yes.
That like you're like, do I want to go watch a sports game, or I could just go to a club, or I could go just walk around. So
for New York specifically, the football teams aren't even in New York.
No, they both play in New Jersey.
They both play in New Jersey.
Like, not that far into New Jersey, but still.
But
I drove past there this past week.
The Yankees.
The Yankees do.
The Yankees play in Brooklyn or in the Bronx.
The Mets. It's not in the city,
it's
but
in Queens.
But it is in Queens. That's right.
Queens.
Yeah, that's right.
But
I know I've driven past it a million times.
The Yankees have a subway stop. It's so much easier to get to them than it is to go out.
It's probably just as easy to get to the Mets too.
Yeah.
There's probably a subway stop at least near there.
Right. It's so much easier to go to those games.
And along with that too, the Rangers are in
Madison Square Garden
in Manhattan.
Yeah.
So
it's so easy to go to the Knicks, the Rangers, even the Nets now that they're in Brooklyn. Like,
I mean, the Islanders are actually going back back on the island, which is where their fan base is mostly anyway.
They're a little harder to reach.
They are, but most of their fan base is on Long Island anyway.
Yes.
That's why they're named that.
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's weird.
But
going back to Ottawa, that will help them with a draw.
Yes.
Not that I really think they had a hard time selling tickets anyway, but this will make it even easier to sell out.
Yeah.
Because most teams, I know Pittsburgh's is right in the middle of downtown. I've never been to the Verizon Center, but it's not even the Verizon Center.
It's Capital
anyway.
One now.
Whatever. It used to be the Verizon Center.
They have a metro stop.
Okay. I know
they have a subway stop.
I know Philadelphia's, all of their stadiums are all in the same complex,
there.
all like one right after the other. I've been to those.
Mm-hmm.
It's really strange, but there's stuff to do there too.
Yeah.
There's like bars and stuff to go to, so they have it figured out as well. And
for Washington, it's right next to Chinatown, so you get a lot of fun, like cool stuff.
Yeah. So it's always better if the arena is downtown or at least downtown adjacent.
Yep.
Where it's like kind
in
of
the
easy.
city.
In the city, it's easier to get to. But anyway, speaking of Washington, they made a couple of interesting moves.
They did.
They re-signed Dylan Strome to a $5 million per year contract.
I like that one.
He's played pretty well for you guys.
I like both of these signings.
Pretty good lockdown, and then they followed that up the day after by signing Sonny Milano to a 3-year, $1.9 million per. Both, I think, pretty good contracts. Milano has been playing pretty good for you guys too.
It's crazy that Anaheim didn't do anything with him.
Anaheim had cap space too. Like I can't believe they didn't keep him.
I get not.
He played really well for them last year.
I get not keeping the qualifying offer. Like, because the qualifying offer was like $7 million. It was
I understand that one, but like
it was like 3.5.
But they couldn't.
Sorry, $3.5 million or something like that.
I still think that's like not that bad for him. Even 3.5 isn't that bad for him.
In the Calgary PTO in the offseason, he did play like absolute crap.
Yeah, but since coming to you guys, he's been pretty good.
Yeah, he's been one of the sparks.
So, hey, good signing for them.
Washington is going to make moves.
At the trade deadline. Well, if they want to make the playoffs, they have to solidify their.
Well, it's more like
their footing.
They have too many forwards. Like
that too.
If you're looking at
that, could be beneficial to them.
If you're looking at their healthy scratches, yeah, I smell it too.
I can't tell what that is.
Me neither.
It could be one of two things. I think it's a skunk though, because there is a skunk that lives in this neighborhood somewhere.
Oh, I saw it actually last week coming here.
I saw it the other night in front of our door.
He's a big dude.
Yeah, he likes to chill right out front of the building.
Oh, that's fun.
And scare the shit out of me when I go to take my dog outside in the night. Yeah.
But, so, like, a lot of their healthy scratches, like, you have Mantha getting healthy scratch. You have Eller or Strome getting healthy scratch because there's just too many
all of these forwards
right now.
So, I mean, that's kind of beneficial to them. They could trade one or two, maybe get some draft capital, maybe use it to get a defenseman or something. I'm not 100% certain like what Washington really needs.
But
they
need some defensive defensemen.
I think there's a lot of teams that need some defense. Those defensive defensemen are going to be going for a premium this year because I know the Penguins could really use one as well.
Well, like
at least one.
Eller's on a expiring contract this year. They're probably going to move Mantha just because he hasn't.
He's just been kind of meh.
Yeah.
He looked really good the first 15 games he was after that trade, and then he got that shoulder injury, and he's just kind of been like,
right. Johansson's was only on a 1-year deal. Gustafsson, like they have a lot of guys pending free agency, so we'll see what happens with them.
At the very least, I'm sure they'll try to do something at the trade deadline. We'll see if they can actually do it, but it'll get sorted in the off season because those guys' contracts will just be up.
Right.
Yeah. So moving on to another signing.
I got this one.
Okay.
Bo Horvat. Officially extended.
Was traded from the Islanders. No, I'm just kidding.
No, he extended 8 years, $8.5 million.
Yeah,
he is more expensive than JT Miller.
Oh, yeah, he is. That's funny.
With $500,000 more.
Yeah, it's not even that much more. I think that contract is
fine.
Is fine. Yeah.
The difference, I will say, the difference between the two is JT Miller did have multiple years of elite production before this contract.
True.
And this is the best year that Horvat has ever had.
Yeah, we'll have to see if he continues it moving forward the next couple of years.
Right.
But,
so first 4 years of this.
But at the same time, people would have clowned on the Islanders if they did not re-sign him.
Oh my God, I would have so bad. So bad.
Like they gave up a good bit for him.
Yeah, I would say so.
But I still don't think it guarantees them a spot in the playoffs.
I don't. Lamoriello's going to make some more moves.
They're not done.
He might get fired if they don't make the playoffs this year.
I think that would be rash, but maybe. Yeah. It's just like, more information came out about the Trotz situation last year where they mutually decided to part ways. But at first, it looked like they fired Barry Trotz, which I thought was ridiculous. I don't know. Lou's kind of a dino.
I mean, like Lou.
He even said
he won't be around for the rest of this contract, whether he's in the Islanders or alive.
He's pushing 80 at this point. I mean, he's fairly old. He might retire.
All right. So the first 4 years of this contract is a full no movement clause.
Full no move. Okay.
And then the last 4 years, it's a 16-team no trade clause.
Old is Bo Horvat?
He is 27.
He is 27. Okay.
So in 3 years.
So this would take him to 35.
But you have to look also like the other contracts that they have. Like Casey Cizikas will be 34.
Well, those
in 3 years
should be up, I think, fairly soon too.
Let
me look. Go ahead, keep talking.
They have a lot of old guys. Nelson, Lee.
I want to say at least a couple of those contracts are up fairly soon.
I think there's a lot of longer ones than we expect.
Maybe. Zach Parise is out after the... Oh, my God. Get out of here, pop-up. Is out after this year, but that's only $750,000. Oh, no, you're right. I thought one or two of them were UFAs after this year, but...
No.
Bailey's UFA after next year, so is Matt Martin. Casey's... Oh, wow. Yeah, Casey's
Cizikas is for a while.
Wow. Why did they sign that guy? I mean, it's not for a lot of money, but still. That's a lot.
They're going to have a lot of money tied up in old guys.
Well, they do. They do have a couple. They do have 3 defensemen that are going to be UFA. Well, 1 UFA and 2 RFAs after this year. And
I mean, you got Pelech and Pulick.
Varlamov is also up after this year too.
Oof.
So that'll be interesting.
Yeah. So we'll see.
Not a bad contract though.
No, especially if the cap's going up.
Yeah.
They just need to make more moves if they want to make the playoffs.
Because they have to leapfrog at least one of the Penguins and Capitals, which is not out of the realm of possibilities. But like there are other teams threatening back there too. Like Buffalo's right there.
Buffalo is threatening.
I can look up the standings really quick, but they're not the only team that's like right out of the playoffs. You know?
No.
But yeah, just speaking of cap really quick, this is another thing I didn't write down, but the Gary Bettman said that the projected revenue of the NHL for this year is going to reach $6 billion, potentially reach $6 billion, which is last year was 5.4, so it's an increase.
Well, there might be a wrinkle in the cap in the coming years.
Maybe.
Because Bally Sports has filed for
bankruptcy.
Yes,
he said that they're keeping an eye on that as well.
Bally Sports is one of the big sports networks that...
especially down south, right?
South and middle of the country.
Actually, Florida's right there, too. Points-wise in the playoffs.
They do a lot of the hockey.
They do the Florida games, I think, at the very least.
They do Carolina. They do all of Texas, Nashville, like South.
So that could be a problem.
Midwest.
But he said they're already looking into possible fixes to that coming up.
Which is fair because Bally Sports kind of sucks.
A lot of those like local networks. Look, the one that the Penguins play on in Pittsburgh has had 4 different names I can think of in like the last 10 years.
I mean, DC is still on NBC Sports.
Right. That's a weird one to me because that's just on NBC Sports, whereas NBC Sports for the rest of the world, well, not the world, the rest of the nation, at least until this past TV contract, it was the national game.
Right.
But like Pittsburgh has played on like Fox Sports 1. They've played on... I think it's AT&T Network right now or something.
Oh, really?
But it had like 2 other names in between there as well. So
I mean, like Boston's going to still be on like New England, whatever.
The games are still going to be on.
Yeah.
They'll just have to work with the local things. Or hey, get rid of local blackouts. How about that?
Yeah, that'd be great.
That would be awesome for every sport to do.
But Bally was owned by Sinclair, so Sinclair is a big.
I'm sorry. The reason I'm laughing because you said that is because I've been watching Dinosaurs on Disney Plus, and their last name is Sinclair, so it made me think of it.
That's a show I haven't heard of thought of in a while.
It's still pretty impressive looking, honestly, with all the like mechanisms and those are people in suits for the most part.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And there's some mechanisms moving their mouths, and then.
Bummer of a series finale, though.
Oh, I know. It's really funny, though. Honestly, it's kind of like funny in a dark way.
Oh yeah.
But they just all die.
Yeah.
At the end because they were like, well, we're not renewing for a new season. Well, I guess they're all going to die then.
Well, we're
going to scar everybody.
It's an extinction event, right there.
Yeah. I think it's the meteor or something. I don't remember.
Or no. Volcano.
It's no. I think it's
There was ash raining from the sky.
I think it might have been a volcano that turned into the Arctic event, whatever it was called, the big freeze or whatever.
Whatever, yeah.
But anyway, I'm sorry.
Bummer of a series finale.
Not the mama. That's right. The baby dies too.
Everyone dies.
Shh, don't depress me further. What are we talking about? Yeah. So hey, that's good for the NHL. It could be good for the cap moving forward. There's been a lot of talk this past week that like the ratings came out too, and there was like a 20% dip in
22.
viewership. But I think those are. I saw somebody explain it. They're like the
reason. A lot of them were cable.
Yeah.
And people don't have cable.
Well, the thing is like those ratings don't take into account people that are streaming it on like ESPN.
Okay.
Like ESPN Plus, those don't take that into account.
That's crazy.
And on top of that, I saw somebody saying that there's actually more games on actual television on TNT and ESPN this year than last year, which just immediately means that that viewership is going to be spread out more.
Right.
So really those numbers are not that bad, apparently, since revenue is up. And the assistant to the manager, Daly, what's Gary Bettman? Assistant Commissioner Bill Daly said that viewership is actually up by 27%. So I think those numbers were like streaming services and stuff. So.
Yeah. Okay,
and that's also not taking into account people that are pirating the games. So.
Yo ho ho.
Pirate's life for me. And finally, our last piece of news, which I think happened today?
Yesterday?
Late
yesterday.
All
right.
We have a trade.
We do have another trade.
Go ahead. They're both your teams.
We have a trade between Seattle and San Jose.
Erik Karlsson lost his line mate.
He did lose his line mate. That was very good. That was very good. San Jose sent
Jacob
Megna to Seattle for a 4th-round pick. As Bert alluded to, he's been playing with Erik Karlsson, playing like 19 minutes a night.
Yep.
And because of that...
That's actually less than I would have thought he would be playing with Erik Karlsson. Erik Karlsson usually plays like 25 minutes a night.
Right, but still, like...
And it's power play minutes, I guess, too, yeah.
He's not on the power play.
No.
Which, because he's playing with Karlsson, it's why it's a 4th-round pick instead of future considerations. So, good for San Jose.
I think Karlsson's been inflating Jacob Megna's number.
Well,
how do you think he spells Jacob?
Jakub.
No, that's not even the normal way that you just said. It's Jaycob. Jacob Megna.
I saw that like yesterday, but
I just thought it's an interesting way to spell Jacob. I thought.
First of all, I said it a very Eastern European way.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. That's true. That's true.
I didn't say it the normal way.
Well, what's the normal way? Jacoub.
I think it's just OB.
I think some people spell it with a U too.
Those people are weird.
I think we work with one of them.
I'm not worried about it.
Maybe two.
They're weird.
Shout out. You guys don't listen. But hey, that's it.
Yeah,
that's it for the week. Yeah. So again, shorty.
I can't believe we stretched out this long.
Well, we yelled at bigots for a while.
Yeah.
Talked about dinosaurs on Disney Plus. But anyway, thank you guys for listening. As always, you can catch us wherever podcasts are found. Tell your friends, tell your family, because we talking pucks out here.
Yeah, we are.
And we will see you next week for a normal length episode.
There's games tonight, so...
There are, games start back up tonight, which is Monday. So we'll have a full week of games.
Washington only plays 2 games.
Awesome.
Friday and Saturday.
That's sick for me. That's less notes that I have to write down.
You're welcome.
But we will see you guys next week at the same puck time.
Same puck place.
Bye-bye.
Bye.